Custer, Chandler Smith, Sam Mayer, who won a week ago in Iowa, Riley Herbst on the outside of him, out of turn 4. The rain will not slow us down. The green flag is in the air. We're racing in New Hampshire. And already a car slow on the outside, not getting up to speed. Everyone avoiding the 38. So he doesn't get up to speed. Matt DiBenedetto. Everyone by him.
Yeah, he almost looked like he had a problem through the gears. Like it just didn't shift like he needed to. Up front, though, 0-0, no problem. Single file with 81 right there back to third. And 98 Riley Herbst up to second.
And wouldn't go in gear, Rick. That's what the problem with the 38 was.
So a gear issue for the 38 of Matt DiBenedetto.
Lucky it wasn't a major wreck at the front straightaway, but you don't get going and all those cars are stacked up. Look at that 21 of Austin Hill.
He's doing the apron.
Yeah, he's just going whatever the guys in front of him aren't.
And the 31, we mentioned earlier, Parker Renshaw having to serve a penalty, so he did a stop and go penalty on pit road.
Corey Heim in that 26 purple Yahoo car in the bottom of the racetrack. Justin Allgaier in the red number 7 right behind him. Allgaier looking to the bottom 3 wide. It gets very flat and very narrow here on corner exit. You kind of have banking, and then when you get to the backstretch, you lose it. The back of the car kind of wants to step out, and then entering 3 right here, the roughest part of the racetrack under braking.
Anthony Alfredo in that 5 car. He's way up the racetrack, but watch what it does for him on corner exit. It's really good run.
And already we're seeing the track start to have a little bit of a groove as far as looking a little bit drier in that preferred line. Here's the start, and we look at Matt DiBenedetto not up to speed.
Yeah, watch it, the stack up behind him that this creates. Can't get it in gear, can't get it in gear. They are very fortunate that wasn't a huge wreck.
Justin Allgaier doing a really nice job as the car behind him. Just patiently waiting until Matt could get far enough right where he could get by.
Smith out of the groove right there.
Yeah, Parker Kligerman in that orange and white number 48 taking advantage.
Moving a little closer to the front for Parker Kligerman as we look back off of his Xfinity mobile on board. 3 wide behind him. Hill still running down on the apron. And after being stuck behind DiBenedetto, we're seeing Allgaier in that 7 continue to move forward. Allgaier also trying the apron there. Sheldon Creed in the 18 trying to complete the pass on the 48 of Parker Kligerman.
And look at the 7 doing the exact opposite of what he was trying before, way up the racetrack.
Listen in to Cole Custer's audio in the 0-0.
Going to need to manage the tires here, so help me keep a 10 car length gap. Yeah, just manage them. You run a 31.72, 32.08 out the back, 1 second lead.
It's great communication. Cole Custer saying, hey, you're going to have to manage these tires because if not, we're going to wear them out. So I only have to go as fast as Riley Herbst is going in 2nd place. Let's don't give the lead up, but let's just take it easy. Don't run any harder than we have to right now.
Steve, you mentioned earlier before the race started that they would all be on the same tire. So what is NASCAR looking at to determine when they would go back to the slicks?
Well, you see on the pylon lap times, we have seen some faster laps. They're actually starting to fall off more than normally we would see here at New Hampshire. So I think that's what they're looking at. When that lap time falls off too much, that would mean the tires are going away. There's enough of a dry groove where then they would put the caution out and everybody would come to pit road and put slicks on. Slicks right now, I feel, could be about a second faster. Unless you get out of the groove, then perhaps you would wreck. So, Marty, it's kind of, you have to make sure it's safe enough for everyone to race on the racetrack before converting to slicks.
Boy, 13th to, I believe now, 4th for Austin Hill as he tries to get around Sammy Smith, and he does do that. So, Jeff, you might have been right about Austin Hill. Yes, they had very limited experience in that test at Martinsville last year when they were testing the wet weather tire. It actually was sunny and beautiful that day at Martinsville, so they were having to wet the track every 20 minutes or so, and they would only get 5 to 6 laps at a time, Jeff. But even with that little amount of experience, could that be the difference right now for Austin Hill to make all these moves on the track and go from 13th to 4th?
Well, I think a little, look, he's a confident driver anyway, and I think giving him a little bit of experience makes him even that more confident.
Fastest car on the track, lap. So to your point about that confidence in the 21, it's showing.
You guys mentioned these tires are softer. We're already seeing a lot of tire debris coming off and in the corners running up the track. So these things are falling apart, and I think that's what they're supposed to do in a rain situation. That's why we see a lot of drivers, when it is wet and they have wet weather tires on, they're seeking the wet to make sure that they don't get too hot and fall apart like this.
Yeah, if there were puddles on the straightaway, I would be telling my driver to get offline and try to cool the tires down. There's just really nowhere to kind of get offline to find. But we're 10 laps completed. To Jeff's point, this is what this tire was designed for. We would be sitting on pit road waiting to start this race, but here we are. We've completed 10 laps.
Competition caution, NASCAR has thrown. So now I'm sure they're going to make the decision, do we now go to slicks?
I think that's what the yellow is for. I think there's no doubt, without anything else coming on the radar, the move is going to be go to slicks. They may have to bring the jet dryers out, blow the track off. The other decision that NASCAR has, I want to cover this real quick. They have the option, if pit road is too wet, to go to non-competitive pit stops for the safety of the crew, meaning the drivers can't lose position. If they feel like pit road is dry enough, it's a competitive pit stop. If you have an issue, if you go slow, you're going to lose spots. I'm hoping that's what they do here, but we'll have to see what NASCAR does. I love the idea of competitive pit stops. I like what it does to the race. It's a moment to kind of change the running order.
Some big winners and some big losers in that little bit of a short run. Chandler Smith, he lost a tremendous amount of 21 spots. He went down. He went all the way to 23rd, but then Quaffle and Bowman picked up 12, 13 spots. So as in every race, Steve, wets or dries, there's winners and losers.
And NASCAR has now told us that they are going to be competitive pit stops. So basically, this is a yellow like every other normal yellow with one exception. You must come down pit road and change tires. You have to come off the wet tires and go to slicks. Other than that, the adjustments you make, it's normal pit stops. You can put fuel in the car. So there's a lot of things that can happen. Remember, there's only 34 to go in this stage. So this is going to be a very short sprint to the end of stage 1.
And Steve, a lot of people at home are probably saying, why does NASCAR tell them what tires to put on? Why don't you just free rein it, let them put whatever that they can? Like, you know, we see that a lot with road racing, but we're new at this. This is a learning experience. Instead of putting the teams in that situation, NASCAR is saying, we're going to make the call for you on these ovals. I happen to think that's the right thing to do as we're learning this process. In the future, as we get smarter, then they can open it up and put it in the crew chief and the driver's hands. But for now, it's just smarter for them to make the decision, Kim.
Well, it had high expectations for that 81 team. Started in the 2nd position, has dropped like an anchor to the 23rd position. Didn't have a great start, but the car also not to Chandler's liking. Take a listen.
This thing's f***ing horrible. It was on the splitter a little bit getting into 3 that whole run as well, over the bumps, past them as well.
So Chandler also, in addition to that, having trouble managing those wet weather tires, told the team, I have 0 turn on entry. They'll look for some major changes when they do come down.
The problem, Rick, is what do you change? And I say that tongue-in-cheek because, okay, on the splitter, we already talked about the difference in tire size. So is that, you know, did they adjust too much? Not enough? Why are they on the splitter? So I know it's not good to go back that far. No one else seems to be struggling to that degree. So I understand there should be a little panic. But do you want to dial yourself out? You came here with what you thought was the best setup. You didn't get any practice to prove it right or wrong. Now you have 10 laps on rain tires on a damp racetrack. As a crew chief, I don't know if I probably would be any more confused than now. Like, am I panicking? Am I making changes? Or am I just putting slicks on and just re-baseline?
As a driver, I just want him to fix it.
I'm going to tell him I'm going to fix it, whether I'm going to do anything or not. No, don't worry, buddy. I'm going to fix you up.
Here they come, Kim.
Yeah, including Cole Custer and Riley Herbst. Riley's saying it is just too edgy. I need to be freed up. You see the slicks going on for Cole Custer. He told his team he fired off tight, but crew chief Jonathan Tony said he thinks with the slicks and the track conditions changing, the track is going to get tighter. They're going to free him up just a little bit with that chassis adjustment, Marty.
Kim, the most common phrase from every driver, that was fun, but we could feel the tires going away very quickly. Sam Mayer echoed that as they get the wet weather tires off. You can see that chassis adjustment for the slick slick tires that are going to go on. The race off of pit road happening behind him as Mayer gets these 4 fresh Goodyear tires on. Austin Hill leads in that #1 pit stall. Will gain a couple of spots here on pit road, Rick.
4 tire stops for everyone, and Cole Custer doing well, holding on to that top spot. Hill and Smith gaining a few. Bell 7 spots on pit road. NBC Sports coverage of NASCAR on USA is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only paying for what you need. Fans sticking it out here. A wet weekend has now dried to the point where we are seeing cars on the track, Marty.
Rick, wanted to show you real quick how these tires look off Sam Mayer's car, who was running third. They look pretty good. I mean, they look like rain tires that came off of a dry racetrack seat. This is the left rear. This is the right rear. Nothing unusual. I think these Goodyear tires held up very well under those conditions on a mostly dry track.
So basically what you're seeing right here is I'm going to draw on it. This right here, that's a blister. So what that basically is the temperature became too high, where think about like if you burned your skin would blister and then pop. That's what happens to the rubber. It gets so hot, the heat increases and it just blisters up and pops. It creates that kind of circle. It doesn't look so bad because there's treads. If it was a slick, it might get our attention. But I agree with Marty. For what we didn't know, those don't really concern me a whole lot. I mean, I think they look pretty normal.
Yeah, it looks pretty good, really, for as dry as the track was. And guess what? We talked about Christopher Bell starting mid-pack. He's up to 4th.
Yeah, he started 23rd and already up to 4th. They gained 7 spots on pit road. That is not good for the rest of the field. He has won in his 3 previous Xfinity Series starts at this racetrack. He's looking to make it 4 in a row. We'll see if he's able to do that. Right now, he's got Cole Custer and Austin Hill in front of him as we go back to green. Austin Hill diving into turn number 1. Able to make it stick, and he takes the lead away from Cole Custer.
See, I think the cars are driving worse now on these tires on this start than they did on the softer rain tires when the race started. This is a handful on low air pressure. See that 8-car Sammy Smith sliding all around on corner exit.
Sammy Smith now has Christopher Bell on his inside. Sheldon Creed back there in the 18. Bell sliding up the racetrack just a bit there. Slides in behind Smith. Now how aggressive do you get in the early parts of this run, knowing there's only, well, 45 laps in stage 1, so a very short stage now.
Yeah, 27 to go. So the answer is as aggressive as your car can dare. I would expect lap 3 or 4 on tires to be the fastest, just a little faster than the treaded tires. We saw like a 31.6. They're going to be down to like 30.60s, so that really impresses me with how good the wet weather tires work, as this battle for the lead is going to be interesting. This pass is harder than it looks for the 00. Can he power up? He kind of slides up in front of the 21.
Cole Custer takes that lead back. So Hill aggressively taking the lead from him, and then Custer decides that's my spot up front, as Custer has already led 17 laps. And those are the first laps that he has led here in the Xfinity Series. Custer back up front, Hill, Sammy Smith, Christopher Bell, and Sheldon Creed running in the top 5. Heim looking impressive in 6th, Kligerman in 7th. Riley Herbst is 8th, Sam Mayer 9th, and Allgaier is 10th. Remember, Allgaier was behind Matt DiBenedetto on the initial start of this race when DiBenedetto didn't get up to speed, and so he fell back, but has since battled back up into a top 10 position.
See this battle right here with Riley Herbst underneath Parker Kligerman. This is why this pass is difficult. There's no banking down there on that lower line. Parker not able to keep his car down in the center of the corner and kind of pinch off the 98. Let's see if Sheldon Creed is able to do it. Sheldon kind of gives that spot up. He didn't contest it. That's a smart move by Sheldon Creed. Sheldon is a fast race car driver. He's just trying to sort out this Xfinity Series and when to push hard and when not. That is a smart move early in the race.
And Jeff, we've seen differing lines. Can you get the same result from different lines? I mean, somebody diamonding the track as opposed to maybe hugging the white line?
You can, but if you see Parker right here, he's up the racetrack, right? And he gets in the corner, tries to get in there low, and just seems like he struggles in the middle of the corner. Kind of has everybody stacked up behind him.
Better by half.
The spotter just told him that was better, and it definitely looked better. But Sam Mayer knows it. Sam Mayer knows that Sheldon, that Parker is struggling in the center of the corner, and he's trying to take advantage of it.
That's Sam Mayer in the
There
one.
by 1.
He peaked underneath the 48s. This time, doesn't look like he's going to be able to get the nose underneath him, as Kligerman down almost all the way to the apron there on exit. Sheldon Creed with Riley Herbst moving to the inside.
We talked a lot about the back row of the race, which was the 17 of Alex Bowman, the 88 of Carson Kvapil. 17 doing a really nice job. No surprise, right? He runs on Sunday for a reason, all the way up to 13th. And as you can see, there's a bunch of traffic in front of him. So I think there's more positions available. Well, you talk about traffic. Look at that. This 48 is underneath the 18. I mean, Riley Herbst at the front of that group is the 6th place car. So Alex Bowman has a lot of positions in front of him. I mentioned Carson Kvapil. He's doing a nice job as well in the 88. He's up to 20th. So for a guy only making his 4th Xfinity Series start, Carson running well. This Hornet's Nest has a lot of potential for issues.
Cole Custer won here in the Truck Series back in 2014, becoming the youngest truck winner ever at 16 years and 7 months. And right now, Cole Custer out in front of this Xfinity Series field. Caution has come out. Patrick Emmerling out of power on the racetrack, and so they will get to his attention and push him back onto pit road. You can download the official app of NASCAR and follow the action with free live scoring. There's in-car cameras as well as radio broadcast. Upgrade to premium for full access to driver audio channels and a completely ads-free experience. Search NASCAR in your app store to download and start your free trial today. Marty, how about Sam Mayer after last week's win? How's he feeling here?
Yeah, what a win for that race team. Sam Mayer in the 8th position right now. Took the time under the caution here to tell Marty Lindley he was a little skatey free on entry, too tight on exit. And he told me earlier this week, he said, honestly, this is one of my weakest racetracks here at New Hampshire. I have something to prove. Even though we just won at Iowa last week, I have something to prove at this racetrack specifically. So far, so good for Sam Mayer. He's kept it in the top 10 the entire day, Kim.
And Marty, Sam, the most recent winner on the opposite end of the spectrum, the 16 team of A.J. Allmendinger, feels like they have struggled on the setup side of things all season long. Alex Youngster, the crew chief, told me that they have swung for the fences. It feels like every race weekend. They just have not hit on what they need. He said, we're not giving up by any means, but we need to turn it around. They feel like maybe this weekend could be the weekend. Right now, AJ's saying entry okay, but he's been fighting tight as we have the 7 of Justin Allgaier on pit road. Looks like they'll change tires for Justin Allgaier. He was reporting just a little bit tight in the center on that machine. The last pit stop, he kind of stuttered getting out of his pit box, so we'll look to see if this one's clean as Marty, the 19, makes their stop.
Yeah, Justin Bonsignor, as Rick mentioned earlier today, already won the modified series race here at New Hampshire today. He's going to put on 4 fresh Goodyear tires. So Steve, stopping with 15 to go here in stage 1 with an extra set of tires. What's the play for these Xfinity Series crew chiefs?
Well, I think tires just don't matter enough here to come again. So I think you pit right here, you stay out at the end of stage 1, you flip to the front of the field and then run the second stage. I love this call for the 7 of Allgaier. I love the aggression. This could be the game changer.
Shane Van Gisbergen also on pit road. Cole Custer leading. Shoes taking place as we're getting ready for the restart. There are still 13 laps to go when they come back around. It'll be 12 to go in stage 1. Cars staying out. Custer, Hill, Bell all the way down. The first on pit road was Allgaier, and he's going to be restarting 26th.
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to agendas, right? The reason I like to call for the 7 is he was right on the edge of getting those stage points. But, you know, Custer, Hill, you kind of have to stay out since you have track position and try to win this stage, maybe get a playoff point. So it'll be interesting to see Corey LaJoie, Cup driver, trying to take a peek, learn what he can.
He's saying, I want to be on camera, so that's why.
I want to check his credentials.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, man, you got the right to be standing up here?
Yep, Corey LaJoie got a couple laps in the Cup car earlier before the rain came and stopped that practice session.
This is the first restart on older tires. It's really important to get that rubber that's built up on the tire cleaned off of this restart.
Custer on the outside, Hill on the inside. Great launch for Cole Custer as they're side by side for second. That's Bell on the outside in the 20 of Hill. And how about Corey Heim? Heim trying to fight for that third spot now. Heim full-time in the Truck Series, but has run over a handful of races in the Xfinity Series and really looked strong at Iowa, and now once again backing it up here at New Hampshire.
Whoa,
AJ,
contact.
and he'll get into the back of the 48, and Parker Kligerman goes around.
Lock it down.
I believe we watched this. I believe the 98, Riley Herbst gets into AJ, and then AJ gets into Parker.
Seen him, he got you.
We talked about it though, Steve. Every time we come to New Hampshire, we have these very aggressive restarts, and older tires with all the rubber built up and all the stuff that's going on, they just do not drive as good. Let's watch what happens. Contact there, the 98 got in the back of the 16 and around the 48 goes.
Alex Bowman in the 17 nearly clearing this.
Yeah, Parker's might be mad at Allmendinger, but when he sees that, he'll recognize that's not the guy to be mad at.
You saw how quick the car spun out. Like, that's just how on edge these cars are.
And watch right here. Watch, he gets contacted. Watch the rear tires. Wide open in the gas, spinning the rear tires forward to try to keep from being in the wall.
Pit road opening in. We'll see if the leaders realize they're kind of backwards on the strategy. They are. So it looks like the leaders are going to pit right here, which is interesting. I thought they should have done it on the last stop if they were going to do it, but Cole Custer likes this idea. He'll come to pit road, Kim.
That's right, Cole Custer, points leader, looking for not much out of that car. He said the balance is good. The car is tighter than it was earlier in the run, but he doesn't want any major changes, Marty.
Yeah, Kim, a chance for these cars to flip onto the other strategy. Christopher Bell complaining about how loose it is on entry and then way too tight on exit. Meanwhile, for Corey Heim, again, another fantastic run, as Rick has mentioned. He, too, a little bit too free on entry. And, Steve, should this even up the strategy for all the teams thus far?
Well, it kind of equals out the strategy, but you know, listen, the first guy to a good decision is going to be the big winner, and I understand the 0-0 and those guys try to jump on, but now they're going to not really have great track position and probably not score stage points either. They're kind of in the middle, standing on the fence.
3 cautions early in this one, and this one comes out as Parker Kligerman gets tagged by the 16 of Allmendinger. getting ready to choose either inside or outside for the restart, and listen in to the 16 radio of Allmendinger.
Hey, tell them we're going to play the game. It's going to start ending up in the ambulance.
But they said, oh well, he still ain't done yet. Knows what was told to me.
So that was Chris Rice that responded to that radio that we heard from Allmendinger. And it sounds like it's not settled yet, at least between the 48 and 16. Kim?
Well, it might be, because they came on under caution. Patrick Donahue, the crew chief for Parker Kligerman, told him the 16 has apologized multiple times. He said it was not his fault, that the 98 just came trucking right through the back of him. There's nothing he could do. So we'll see if that settles Parker's nerves, but I'm not sure. He seems pretty fired up.
We mentioned the fact that Justin Bonsignor making his Xfinity Series debut. Another driver out there making their Xfinity Series debut is Armani Williams, the 24-year-old out of Detroit, Michigan, just got the free pass. So he will be back on the lead lap, and Armani Williams making his first Xfinity Series start.
7 could be in the driver's seat here to be on the right side of the strategy and maybe steal some stage points, but it's going to require a really good restart.
Bowman and Sammy Smith making up row 1. Only 6 laps remaining in stage 1. Sammy Smith taking advantage of that front row start, but here comes the one of Mayer. Bowman falls back to 3rd and might lose that to Riley Herbst.
Side by side for the lead into turn 3 over those bumps. Very, very difficult. You kind of see the one wash up, trying to take some real estate away, and will clear the 8 off the corner.
Sam Mayer, after winning in Iowa a week ago, now 5 laps away from potentially a stage win, as we see 3 and 4 wide back here. That's Christopher Bell in the 20. Down the back stretch and into 3.
Alex Bowman in that 17 on the inside, that white and blue car inside that 16 of AJ Allmendinger. We just heard that radio from the 16. They'll get it sorted out. 7, the 88 of Carson Quapple will all get in line right there. Nationwide skiing. I think it's a kind of that light blue and white on the 88.
Whoa, sideways for that 51 car. Jeremy Clemens had his hands full.
There again, the 88 of Carson Quapple to the inside. And a little bit of a hands-free condition there for Alex Bowman. But look at Allgaier all over his back bumper as well. Now 3 wide as they go into the turn.
That's an aggressive move by the 7 of Allgaier to jump up on the outside. Showing a lot of trust in Alex Bowman. And he knows he's going to be there.
Yeah, completed the pass as they went through 1 and 2.
Really good work by the 7 to get back inside the top 5. You see the leader, the 1 of Sam Mayer at the top of your screen. 98 and the 8 side by side. Good run so far for Sammy Smith and the 8.
Yeah, both he and the 98 racing to make these playoffs. Getting these stage points could help them do that. That's why they stayed out. And Sam Mayer, although he's won race, trying to win another stage to build those playoff points.
Pit road closed, 2 laps to go. Coming up on 1 to go in stage 1. Sammy Smith in front of Riley Herbst. Allmendinger there in the 16.
Look at Justin in that 7 car, still trying the outside.
Final lap, and Sam Mayer out in front has a 1-second lead over Sammy Smith. As this fight continues between the 8, 98, 16, and 7, but no challenge to win the stage, and it's the first stage win this year for Sam Mayer. Sammy Smith, Riley Herbst, Allmendinger, Allgaier in the top 5, gaining these stage points with Bowman, Quapple, Sieg, Burton, and Bonsignor in his Xfinity Series starts, finishing 10th in stage 1. Tomorrow it's the Cup Series turn, and Chase Elliott, because qualifying was not run, he will start on the pole. But a big day of racing tomorrow. It starts with IMSA racing at 11 o'clock from Watkins Glen, then the Cup Series racing, and yes, we'll be embedded once again. It'll be with Joey Logano's team, and we will be able to get that inside look during stage 2. The Cup race in 2:06 green flag, and then it all wraps up tomorrow with the NTT IndyCar Series out at Laguna Seca.
I always wanted to sneak onto the top of Paul Wolf's pit box. Tomorrow we're going to get to pull it off. So
and a camera right on it. That was so cool last week.
Examining. I want to see what kind of notes they're keeping up there.
So coming to the green and white checker, the end of stage 1. Take a look here between Sheldon Creed, Parker Retzlaff, and Cole Custer. These 3 cars.
Sheldon got really loose on the bottom, gets up into Retzlaff, and he into Custer. It's not going to make those 2 guys very happy.
And the benefactor there was actually the 21 of Austin Hill. He passed all 3 of them on the inside.
It's going to be interesting right here if the leaders pit. I think they will, but there's an argument that says they could try to stay out and just live it with the old tires. But no, they're going to come to pit road. Surprisingly, Allgaier joins them. I thought he would live on those old tires, Kim.
Riley Herbst, though, not happy with that race car. See him at the top. He said, I'm on top of the racetrack for 5 laps. I can't get on the gas because I'm tight. I tried to explain to you guys that I am in a 4-wheel slide, but you look like I'm crazy. So they will look for changes on the 98. You see Sammy Smith finishing up his service there on the 8 car. Sammy said, I'm too tight center. Also free exit. Adam Wall, the crew chief, saying, I think if we fix your tight, that helps back in, Marty.
Kim, it took Sam Mayer until April to get his first playoff points of the year. He's gotten 6 in the last 7 days. This team is on a roll. He said it's slipping the right rear off the corner makes it really free leaving the corner. He'll leave pit road, lose a couple of spots of those who did pit, Rick, but again, a lot of cars did decide to stay out.
Couple no tire stops for Allgaier and Retzlaff. Retzlaff gaining 17 positions by doing that. Allgaier, what's going on here?
You see, he comes down pit road, and they're underneath the car looking at something. I don't know if they're having a mechanical issue, but didn't even put fuel in the car.
So we'll find out what took place there for Justin Allgaier as we get back to racing in New Hampshire. NBC Sports coverage of NASCAR on USA is brought to you by Credit One Bank, NASCAR American Express card, and by Progressive. Save when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit progressive.com. New England Motor Racing Museum, just a little bit south of this racetrack. I mean, about a half a mile, if that. And Dick Bergeron has really put together something special. Steve, I know you're going to visit tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I'm going to go check it out. It's so awesome what they've done there from, a kid from Maine was lucky enough to kind of work in NASCAR and see the top of motorsports. It's so awesome to go in there and kind of see the heritage of New England racers, both in the garage and drivers.
Kim.
Let's go back to Justin Allgaier making a stop during that caution, because they were originally not planning on it. Their strategy was not to come down. But when I checked it with the team, they said that they heard from the 19 that the 19 was seeing smoke. So I asked Marty, because he's covering Justin Bonsignore in the 19. And actually, the 19 smelled gear oil, they thought, coming from the 7. So that was relayed to Jim Pullman, the crew chief of the team. They elected to bring Justin down to check it. Did not see anything. And so, Steve, if you are on the pit box for the 7, why do you bring your car down? Are you that concerned hearing something like that from, by the way, a guy making his Xfinity Series debut?
Yeah, it is an interesting call. I don't think I would have been that concerned, especially for somebody just starting out. I wonder if this is a track that maybe you only have like one gear cooling hose and you normally would run 2. Like, why are they instantly thinking it could have been an issue? Because to your point, Jeff, I'm not sure you could fix it even if it was gear oil. And now they've given up their track position.
Getting ready for the restart as we're watching the NASCAR Xfinity Series racing from New Hampshire. It's the Sci Aps 200. Back up through the gears. Justin Bonsignore on the restart is on the outside. Christopher Bell on the inside.
Stack up behind him.
They make their way through. So impressive for Justin Bonsignore to be up here in the top 2 right now. He tried to do the simulator to learn as much as he could, because this is his first ever race in the Xfinity Series. When he went to Joe Gibbs Racing to try that out, he said it just didn't give him the feel that he was looking for. He thought he was terrible on it, so he's going to rely on his knowledge of the track to hopefully get him through, and his teammates.
Well, I love this position that they're in. Great strategy to get here. And look at the clean air he's got. He's able to follow Christopher Bell, one of the best in the Xfinity Series, period, with race wins here. Great opportunity for him to sit here and run second as this battle rages behind him.
Yeah, 3 wide right here. Corey Heim in that 26. Brandon Jones in the 9. Talk about just how good Joe Gibbs Racing is, and then here they are, 1, 2, 3 at this race.
With a driver making his first ever Xfinity Series start in second. Marty.
Rick, you brought up the simulator story. Let's just say the Toyota simulator is a full motion simulator. Have you ever been to your local amusement park, Rick, and you've rode some full motion rides, right? Some people that goes well for, some people it doesn't go well for. And on your first try, that's what happened to Justin. You can imagine the rest of the story. But he did say some helpful information, not as much as he thought he would get out of it, though.
Bonsignore, 36 years old, and I can tell you from experience, guys that are in their mid-30s, they don't do well with full motion simulators. I don't know why, but young guys just roll right into it. But you can see the success Joe Gibbs has had here. 12 total wins. He's driving great equipment. The adjustment he's made, Steve, happened quickly. Give him a lot of credit. He's able to keep pace for Christopher Bell. Great job adjusting.
And I think some of that, how are they so good? That's what everybody wants to know, right? Even with a variety of drivers. It's one that say Bell's good, but here we see all of them up there. Once there hasn't been a lot of rule changes in Xfinity. So I think the package that they run is probably very similar year in and year out. Especially in a week like this with no practice, you see it hasn't slowed them down at all.
Parker Kligerman to the inside of Anthony Alfredo.
The 7 doing a nice job recovering. They gave up that track position. I know that frustrated Justin, but here he is passing the 5 of Alfredo. That'll be for the 10th position.
Makes that pass, and right behind him, Jesse Love in the 2 is going to stay on that same line. Right along, looking back from the Xfinity Mobile on board of Parker Kligerman.
Yeah, he also is a rebound. We saw him turn around the middle of the racetrack a little bit ago.
Corey Heim to the outside of Custer. We'll see if that outside line works as well for Heim as it did for Allgaier earlier. Chandler Smith trying the same thing in the 81.
You mentioned the word earlier, all the trust that the 7 had in the 17 when he went around him on the outside. I feel like that happens a lot. You get in a position on corner exit where you're in a good spot and you're kind of gassing up, like when I watch the 18 leading this pack right here, or now even the 26 with the 00 looking. If the 00 kind of gets to the left rear quarter panel of the 26, you have to have a lot of confidence that that guy's not going to kind of catch you in the quarter panel on exit.
And they don't really know Corey Heim that well, right? He's a very young driver. Most of his time has been in the truck series. They're having to build that trust with him. He keeps running the way he's running, though. You're not going to have a choice.
Yeah, 21 years old. He's looking very impressive behind the wheel of this 26.
And Rick, I think back-to-back weeks for Corey Heim as you watch a battle a little bit further back as Sam Mayer tries to make a move. Back-to-back weeks in the 26 car for Corey Heim are massive. And Jeff, you can speak to this. When you're doing these one-off races, it's very difficult. Corey told me, he said, listen, I had a hole in my truck series schedule. I would rather be in the seat than not be in the seat. But when you're able to be in a car back-to-back weeks, what does that afford a driver, Jeff, when he's not really used to this race team?
Well, this race team, Marty, has, multiple drivers in it, and all drivers are different. And I think it creates a big challenge for the race team to try to understand exactly what driver they have in it and what he likes and doesn't like. So spending back-to-back days with each other, that goes a long way. For his development as a driver, now it's easier to connect the dots, so to speak. You run a race, you learn. You go to the next race, you apply what you learned, and that you build the foundation like that. So back-to-back is an advantage for the driver and the team.
A little bit of pressure now from Cole Custer behind him. Cole Custer, a champion from a year ago, and the big story coming out of his organization, Stewart-Haas Racing, they were closing their doors at the end of the year. A new announcement came out. Haas factory team is going to be started, which really is a new team. It'll have one Cup Series charter for a Cup car to be run, and then there will be 2 Xfinity cars that will still run out of what is now going to be Haas factory team. You see the numbers for Cole Custer as far as this season compared through the 15 races of his championship year.
Cole Custer is patiently working on this 26. At the bottom of the screen, you see a battle between JRM teammates, the 1 of Sam Mayer, the 8 of Sammy Smith. The 8 just keeps kind of rolling to that outside. You see how the 1 has that speed on corner entry as he works on the 38 in front of him. But now the 8 gets right to that outside quarter panel, which makes corner exit so much more difficult for the 1.
We saw the 38 just in front of Sam Mayer. Here was just a couple laps ago, a little contact between the two.
Yeah, DiBenedetto on the outside of Mayer. Mayer slides up in front of him. Matty D with a little notice. I'm here.
Pass was made by Cole Custer around the 26 of Heim, and now we see the 81 putting pressure. So Chandler Smith and that red 81 pressuring Heim.
Well, let's not forget, Chandler Smith was the driver on the wets earlier in the race that went all the way back to 23rd, said how awful his car was. It was hitting the splitter. We've seen now a couple cycles on dries, either adjustments or just the car gets better now they're on a more standard tire. He's that other Joe Gibbs Racing entry. We made a lot about the front 3 being 1, 2, 3. Chandler Smith is thinking, nah, we're going to make this 1, 2, 3, 4. Just give me a few more laps. I'm coming as well.
Well, there's 5 Toyotas in the top 6.
Yeah, how does that make you feel if you're the worst running Toyota? Now you're running 6, but you're the worst running Toyota.
You just have to keep saying it's 6. It's not that bad.
Not that far off. Christopher Bell, though, he's won 3 times before. Can he make it 4? You can join NASCAR's free rewards program and start earning points that turn into member-only rewards. You can earn points every time you check in for a race from home or if you're camping here at the track. Trade them in for free tickets, exclusive gear. Just visit NASCAR.com/fan rewards. Look at the campers here at New Hampshire. So much fun to be able to spend a weekend just enjoying racing, as we're seeing a pretty good battle here between Quapple making the move by Alex Bowman.
Quapple's done a nice job. Had to start in the back. You know, a few times he's been able to drive the Xfinity car. He's done a great job. The first 2 times in it, finished top 5.
I thought he had Dover. I thought he had it won. It was a great battle between him and Ryan Truex.
He's won multiple Cars Tour championships, which really Junior was really impressed by and gave him this opportunity.
So again, that's Carson Quapple on the bottom. And how about Heim fighting back on the outside? As the top of the screen, we see Smith and now Allgaier. Allgaier working to the inside of that 81 with 16 to go here in stage 2.
Whoa, contact there. Allgaier up into the 26.
So Heim starts to fall back just a bit as Brandon Jones now sets his sights on that position.
Good recovery by Brandon Jones. They need a good clean run, that 9 car. They just have had one of those years where nothing has gone their way.
And you see these 4 cars separated by 0.6 of a second, all for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Again, Chandler Smith out in front in the 81. Take another look at what happened here between Allgaier and Heim.
Yeah, you see Allgaier on the bottom of the racetrack. It's really hard to get grip there and just misjudged it. Used a little bit too much racetrack. Really liked the move that Heim made right there. He could have said, all right, buddy, and just stayed in the gas and been hard-headed and wrecked both of them. But a smart move, just saying, all right, I didn't like that, but we're gonna live to fight another day.
We hear Corey Heim's name a lot when we talk about open rides, even at the Cup level, and a lot of it has to do with how fast you are, how many races you win. But for me, if I'm the president or competition director, it's moves like that impress me more than the speed, right? Because that is not only fast, but he could have junked the car and he didn't. And when you come to Sundays, that's the give and take that's really required.
Marty, what about Sam Mayer?
After winning stage 1, only up to 14th after the stop at the end of that stage. But that's not the issue. The issue, and it has been all day long, is the radio. Listen in to some of what Sam Mayer is hearing inside the car.
Inside, clear. No, they're working on it. Hang in there. I know it's annoying. We'll be all right. Anybody that's not me, Sam, or Marty, please turn off for a bit.
And Jeff, that noise you hear has not gotten any better. I've heard some bad radios in my life, but that may be one of the worst ones. And that beeping you hear is constant almost in Sam's ear. You can understand his frustration.
Yeah, it'd be very hard to concentrate with all that going on. And you heard the Kevin Hamlin, the spotter, say, everybody except for me and the crew chief, turn your radios off. Let's make sure, if it's not necessary, let's make sure it's not your radio causing an issue. Steve, that's really the only thing you can do. You can switch radios, you could do some other things, but first to just get everybody off the channels to try to eliminate it.
Yeah, when we talk about scanners, that's kind of your radio frequency to a certain decimal point. Then to be able to broadcast, it's almost one more decimal point out. That's not normally shared, the exact broadcast frequency, but it could be a radio literally in the radio cabinet of the truck, sitting in the charger that's on, or I've seen, you know, marketing things, and it's just, you know, a marketing person who just the button just keeps getting keyed up.
So how bad is it? Let's listen in live now to the one radio.
That's all I could stand. I can't take it anymore. I mean, this is an impressive try by Sam Mayer.
I think that was Morse code for bring me food.
I mean, what a mess.
I mean, you know, at some point, you just want to turn it off, right? If the only danger in turning it off is the spotter can't let you know there's a wreck, right? That's the danger. But at some point, I would just have to say, all right, I'm going to take care of myself here and get that out of my ear.
And Steve, he said on the radio just a moment ago, enough, enough. And they said, okay, when you get a moment, go to channel 2. But they would rather do that under caution. But that's what Sam Mayer is dealing with. And, oh, by the way, making passes on the racetrack. And you weren't kidding, Rick. That was live. That is nonstop in Sam Mayer's ear.
So go to channel 2. He has 2 options, to literally reach down and turn the primary radio to channel 2. And most race teams, you set it where there's only 2 channels in there, so you can't mess it up. A lot of race teams, actually, what we did is the second radio would be on and on channel 2, because it's much easier to go from radio 1 to radio 2. At a short track, the antenna's not really a big deal, so we'll have to see if the one can find a solution past this radio issue. The 7 and the 81 are in a tight battle, though, for 5th.
As Jesse Love on the outside of that 1 of Mayer, still able to hold on to position as A.J. Allmendinger's putting a little pressure on him. And the 7 of Allgaier a little bit sideways there after chasing after that 81 of Chandler Smith, Kim.
Yeah, the 7 just trying to wear Chandler Smith out. But let's talk about this run, because he restarted 17th, has made his way up to the 6th position, trying to pass Chandler Smith for that 5th position. And this is what they were able to do last year. Last year, their specialty was the long run. And when I talked with the team, they said they brought an identical setup from last year because Justin was so good. This team just looking for momentum and luck again. They've already had a little bit of bad luck so far in this race with that kind of mysterious call that brought him down pit road. But Justin says, yes, we have that win in Darlington, but week in and week out, we are fast. You'll see it here this weekend. We just have to be on the other side of luck.
It's a part of this sport. Luck is there. Bad luck, good luck.
Sometimes creating your own luck, though. I mean, like, no different than the gear issue today. I mean, it's easy to question whether they should have come down. I don't know exactly what's going on with the mechanical of the car, but that's, in my opinion, not bad luck, right? I mean, that was something that you felt maybe you had an issue or they felt like they had to come down. So you have to manage those. Like I said, so I'm not, it's easy to sit up here and question what Jim Pullman's thinking. He obviously knows his car better than we do, but sometimes you also create your own luck.
Once again, Jesse Love in that 2, challenging the 1 of Mayer.
Mayer's in an interesting situation here in that 1 car. He keeps trying to run the bottom and has yet to be able to quite get this move done. Now way into the corner, going to try to slide up in front of Love in the 2. Can't quite get there. And Allmendinger back in that 16, he wants to catch the 1 on the bottom. He wants to try to get on the outside of him if he can't clear that 2. Once again, the 1 way down into the corner. Just can't carry the speed through the center. And Allmendinger sees it. He's like, all right, let me go with his 2 car. Let me get on the outside, try to take this spot.
Kim, we're also hearing that Allgaier might be having issues with his radio.
Yes, absolutely. A new development for Justin Allgaier since I last reported on him. Marty did a great job of explaining Sam Mayer his issue. Take a listen to Justin's radio.
Go to channel 2, channel 2, channel 2.
So, Steve, now that we've seen teammates from the same team and organization have the identical radio issue, why?
Yeah, that is crazy. I mean, each race team number has their own specific frequency for Radio 1 and Radio 2, but it's crazy to think Junior Motorsports has an issue with 2 of their frequencies. That is like undue frustration, right? Like, the racing's tough enough to have to deal with things like that.
Final 2 laps of stage 2 in front of us. And still out front by almost 4 seconds is Christopher Bell. Then Bonsignor running in that 2nd spot. Very impressive to be able to hold on to 2nd. And just his first ever Xfinity Series start, Cole Custer, Creed, and Smith all in the top 5. That's Chandler Smith.
The thing about Bonsignor, I mean, he is running 2nd to Christopher Bell, perhaps the best Xfinity driver ever here, and he has the pace to keep up with him.
He's almost like, you know, if it's an IMSA race, he's leading GTD. Unfortunately, Bell is like the GTD Pro class.
Yeah. And off of 4, Bell is going to win stage 2. That's his 5th stage win at New Hampshire. Remember, he has 3 wins in his 3 starts in the Xfinity Series here, looking for a 4th. Good battle here for position as Corey Heim is able to stay in front of Brandon Jones. Heim finishes 7th. Brandon Jones 8th, Austin Hill and Parker Kligerman rounding out the top 10 in stage 2. Well, Boston, they are the city of champions. They've been celebrating titles for decades. New England's successes have been unmatched. Bruins, Patriots, Red Sox, and the Celtics, you know, they just added that 18th banner. NASCAR Drive, that's your live race day companion. You can follow all of your favorite drivers with access to their in-car cameras, or you can choose from alternate camera angles. Just visit NASCAR.com/drive, or you can download the NASCAR mobile app. Stage 2 complete, and pit stops about to get underway. Kim?
And Cole Custer, one of the drivers that needs help with that race car, he said, my short run's kind of loose, but my long run, just losing the front tires. They will make both a chassis and air pressure adjustment to help with that turn on Cole Custer as tires going on, Marty.
Christopher Bell, middle of pit road, said he's a little bit free in the first half of the corner, then snappy loose late in the run on the exit of the corner. Justin Bonsignore was funny on the radio, Kim. He said, woo, man, I'm learning on the fly here. Absolutely doing a terrific job. Said a little too free on braking, but the drive off on the 19 car is just terrific. And look at that. Cole Custer will leave pit road with the lead, Rick.
Yeah, you think about it, Bonsignore, he doesn't do a lot of pit stops like this in the modified series, so lost a couple spots there.
Well, a couple spots, a 7 of Justin Allgaier just now pulling off pit road. It started with being super long in the box. You want to talk about a game of inches. That white line is out of bounds to the front. He's about an inch short of that. I thought that was going to be the only issue, but then when they come to the left side, it looked like a normal pit stop. Left side goes up, very normal. A little bit of trouble with the jack going in, Kim, but then took forever on the left side. What are you hearing for the 7?
Well, they didn't get the lug nuts tight, so he started to leave the box, and then they had to get him tight. You see the blood from right there, trying to get him tight. But the thing is, this is exactly what happened last year for Justin. He slid through his box. They serviced the car when he was outside the box. So pit road troubles at New Hampshire continue to plague Justin Allgaier.
Make your own luck, Rick. Make your own luck. That's not bad luck. That's just bad execution.
Twice today they have had some issues. Beautiful Saturday afternoon after the rain has passed through. Great racing here for all of the fans in attendance. You see all those campers parked all the way around this racetrack. New Englanders loving their racing as we're getting ready for the start of the final stage. Just over 100 laps remaining in this race.
You know, Rick, this racetrack was around forever in kind of its old format, but when the Bear family bought it and transitioned it to what it is today, I'll never forget as a little kid rolling in here for a Busch North race, and my eyes glassed over. I'd never seen a racetrack so nice. And when you're from New England, 1 mile is basically a super speedway because every short track around here is a quarter or 1/3 mile. I came here for some NASCAR racing, and then we came here for the super bikes. And if you see, I saw Dale Quarterly come down that backstretch hill in a super bike, and that changed my opinion very quickly of what it was like to race on 2 wheels.
That determined that you were going to be a crew chief as opposed to a driver?
I want no part of that.
I ran the first Xfinity Series race here, and you know, I grew up in the Southeast. I thought that's where all the race fans were. We came here and I went, wait a minute, these guys here, they're fired up. They love the racing, and it was a wild race. That race took forever to run, but it was, you could feel the excitement and the enthusiasm.
And like every good New England sports fan, they're going to tell you what they think about you. If you're not good, I like that. I like that about our New England sports fans.
So we talked about Bonsignor in the 19 car and how good of a job that he's done. This is a different type of racing. Pit stops and how you leave the pit box matter. Let's listen to see what he said about all that.
We just got to get up to speed a little bit quicker too. Is it a struggle trying to get all the way to the third for your lights?
It's like trying to get around the 5, get it rolling, and then get the third really quick. I'm definitely the weak link there.
All right, so a lot of information there. So the 19 car gave up 2 seconds rolling speed on pit road. Pitting a race car is not just about in the box and out of the box. It's how the driver gets down pit road, and he gave up 2 seconds just because he's not accustomed to it, Steve.
Yeah, he does a nice job kind of turning in. Puts it right on the sign. I think at this point he's doing a really, really nice job. Right sides look really good. They go to the left side, maybe a little slow on the right, but no real problem looking at the sign. But now what happens is the car in front of him comes in. So now he has to get the car turned out, Jeff. And you know, it's easy to stall. He does a nice job not stalling it. But then right here, first, second, looking for third, you see the 18 continuing to pass him.
And what you have to do, you have to speed. You got to get going really quickly, go through the gears to get to third gear, which is what they're saying his RPMs were for pit road. So it's hard to know if you're speeding through those sections as you're gaining RPMs. It's just a lack of experience. But so many times, these small things in a race determine wins. It's not always the big things.
And remember, this is a bucket list item for Justin Bonsignor. He's not looking to move into the Xfinity Series or up to the Cup Series. He's very good, a 3-time champion at the Modified Series, but he wants to show everybody modified drivers are good.
It's not a bucket item yet, but you know, you just wait. If he runs second or third or first, I want to shut his phone off if he thinks he's not going to get some calls.
Yeah. Getting ready for the final stage. Christopher Bell on the inside in the 20. Cole Custer on the outside in the 00. Back to racing.
Blocking in the back, you see the 21 pulls out of line, that white and blue car, the 9 of Brandon Jones. Here it is on the flat, a couple cars.
Great restart for Cole Custer. He's able to clear Christopher Bell.
Oh, a big slide by Bell in the 81. Chandler Smith takes advantage.
Christopher Bell in that 20 car has been complaining about loose on corner entry, and that's what you saw right there. He had to chase the car up the racetrack.
Sheldon Creed currently running 4th in the 18, but under attack from Justin Bonsignor in that 19.
This is what we talk about. You know, we showed what he struggled with on pit road. If that's the biggest mistake he makes, he's going to be doing just fine. But these cars drive very different than a modified. And Jeff, I would imagine on cold tires, it's the most. Low air and cold tires, this car should have the least amount of grip. He's making it look easy.
Yeah, he's doing a great job because what he's doing right here is very difficult. Look at him drive into the corner with tons of speed, but still stay in his line.
Cautions come out, and this time it's for the 6. So Armani Williams behind the wheel of the 6 brings out the caution. We mentioned earlier that Armani had received the free pass. You see the foundation for autism on there. Great story for Amani. At the age of 2, was diagnosed on the autism spectrum. Didn't speak his first word until he was 3 years old, but since has learned, continued, got a 3.0 through high school, attending college, getting a mechanical engineering degree, and now racing at the Xfinity level. But Armani brings out the caution here. There you see him spinning, coming out of the turn. We'll have another restart when we return.
And it is Kyle Busch here at New Hampshire.
David beats Goliath.
Oh, yeah, baby. That's awesome. Woo!
Christopher Bell dominates the New Hampshire race.
3 for 3, man.
I don't know what he has figured out here, but it is working.
John Hunter Nemechek right where he wants to be.
What a dominant performance. Heck yeah, boys! Heck yeah!
So much success out of JGR in the Xfinity Series here, and right now Toyota's running 2nd through 5th with C. Smith, C. Bell, Justin Bonsignor, and Sheldon Creed in those 2 out of 5 positions as we take a look at the Toyota driver update. And Christopher Bell, we mentioned the domination that he has put on here. 42 laps led already today.
Well, if you're poor Cole Custer sitting there leading the race, you look back, you see a lot of teammates, a lot of Toyota guys. They are going to be putting the pressure on him.
Whatever lane you pick, you're going to have a Gibbs car next to you and one behind you.
Yeah, this was the last restart. The exit of turn 2. 2 into the 9, 2 get sideways. And we talk about restarts here. That's just what happens. 3 wide, 4 wide.
Take a look at Leland Honeyman and see what happened. This was under caution.
It's crazy.
Left rear down or a mechanical something. Oh.
Right front tire. I mean, something is broken in front of this car.
Like upper control arms unbolted.
Field 2x2 as we come up on 95 to go. Custer on the outside. Seabell on the inside as we get ready for the restart.
See how tough it is to take off right there, the 20 on the inside.
Historically here, Steve, the inside does not get a good launch on the straight.
Remember, the 20 had that big slide in turn 3 last time. We'll see if it's a little bit better now that the tires have some time on them. Almost looks like a little bit of a timid entry to make sure he doesn't drive up into the door of the 81, but it just doesn't roll. Like the 20, as good as he is out front, was just kind of parked in the middle of the corner.
Hill once again using that apron as you see him on the inside of the 48 of Parker Kligerman.
Kligerman shifting.
Well, do we ride on board for a lap? Yeah, let's see what's going on here.
I think they probably just got so slow on the restart. They all got stacked up. RPMs came down long enough for him to downshift.
Turned his brake fans on, I assume is what that move was.
See right here, no movement on his right hand to downshift it. Yeah, I think that's what happened, Steve. Just all bottled up on a restart, just trying to build speed.
That maybe looked like a brake adjustment. You look at the steering wheel with the 3 different lines of tape, you know, all for different reasons. Some is from the right to the left side on a pit stop. The driver needs to actually turn the wheel a little bit. The wheel opening's so small on these cars in the front end settings, you actually have to turn the wheel a little right and a little left to get the front tires off cleanly.
We see Sam Mayer on the outside here of that 48 of Kligerman. Remember, Sam Mayer, difficulties with the radio. See if anything has changed on that front.
And the battle for the lead. Christopher Bell was led a ton of laps, but he's lost his track position. Now he's got to try to get back to the front.
He's at 39 on the bottom screen. Ryan C. gets worth pointing out. It's been quite a year. Remember, so good earlier in the year. I thought he had won Texas. Yeah, so close to winning Texas. And then here he is. You know, he's racing against some of the bigger teams, trying to battle his way into the top 10. He's in the 39 this week because the 38 is Matt DiBenedetto. And we're outrunning Matty D. Matty D's back in 19th. Ryan kind of flexing a little bit. Fastest of the organization at the moment.
And Parker Kligerman still trying to make the pass here on C.
And this is where race car drivers kind of get so impatient. This is not a racetrack where you kind of set a guy up, pass him, and move on. You work and work and work to get next to him, and then you just, it's like a game of inches. It sometimes takes 3 or 4 laps. Really, you're trying to push a guy into a mistake more than anything. If that guy can just slip a tire, you can clear him. That's what makes the strategy so important, Jeff, because even on newer tires, you have to work so hard to get back by guys. The tires just kind of lose their luster.
Yeah, anything you can do to get track position, whether it's good pit stops, strategy, whatever it is, you've got to do it.
And that matters because with 89 to go, I think the fuel window is around lap 80. But if you had a yellow right now, I think the leaders would be forced to come down to pit road and try to stretch that fuel. Custer doing a really nice job. We make such a statement about how good Joe Gibbs Racing is here for all the right reasons. They have the stats, but I think that's what makes this run by the 00 even more impressive for me.
And for Cole Custer, despite coming in, the points leader still does not have a win on the season. And when I talked with Cole about it, he said, I feel like we're top 5 or so every single weekend, and it's very strange to be leading the points, but also a little bit frustrating that you haven't won yet. He said, I think it's coming. We just have to keep knocking on the door. That's exactly what they're doing this weekend. And when I talked to crew chief Jonathan Tony, he said, Cole makes his job easy. If he gives him something close, Cole can drive it to a win. And it looks like, Marty, today could be their day if they keep it up.
But Christopher Bell is lurking back there, Kim, who lost all those spots. He said it was weird what happened in turn 3 on the last restart. It almost was like he hit water. He knows he did not hit the water. Obviously, no water on the racetrack, but it seemed like maybe the splitter hit the racetrack and Bell just shot up the track. But the car tends to get better the longer they run, as we ride on board the Toyota onboard with Christopher Bell sitting in third and seemingly pretty quick and could catch the front 2 guys. Meanwhile, Rick, you asked the question about Sam Mayer's radio. Good news, bad news. The bad news is Channel 1 sounds exactly the same. The good news is they were able to switch to Channel 2 for Sam Mayer, so now all quiet and very normal on his radio.
That distraction being gone has to be very welcome for Sam Mayer. And again, Mayer running in the 10th position, chasing after Austin Hill. Take another look at this restart.
Sheldon Creed, and a little bit of contact right here. He's got to lift off the throttle. Just teammates going at it. Whoa, the 21 into the side of the 98. Austin Hill in that white car just really loose.
And we'll see how Hill does through 1 and 2 now, as he tucks in behind the 98. Sam Mayer behind them.
You know what's interesting is that, you know, this racetrack, it seems like every time we come here, it's something different. Like the line changes just a little bit, and right now the fastest line is on the bottom. You know, it's really low. Like the corner exit's really low. A lot of times we'll see a little bit higher exit, but it's going to be really difficult to pass with the line all the way down there.
Creed making the pass on the inside. Heim in that 26, still running well. Custer, though, leading New Hampshire. Just under 78 laps remaining in the Sci Aps 200 from New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. As we see Christopher Bell still tracking after that 81 of Chandler Smith. Cole Custer is out front. He's led 63 of the 123 laps that have been completed.
And I know the skies don't look great from the roof of the 20 of Christopher Bell, but I would tell you, kind of looking out the window, it's the brightest it has. Almost, dare I say, some sunshine on the racetrack, and I think that matters because as you see now shadows, the car's making shadows on the backstretch. That will change the handling very quickly. If the temperature comes up, you mentioned how that bottom lane was the fastest. You wonder if it gets a little warm and slick if it doesn't move up to that second lane.
This is a great battle right here. Christopher Bell, I feel like it's just a little bit quicker than the 81 of Chandler Smith, but he can get here, but he's yet to be able to clear him. This is as far up as he's been on him. Let's see what he does getting into turn 3. Will he try to slide him or keep the car on the bottom of the racetrack? Chandler, I believe, just kind of smartly said, all right, you're quicker this time in a race. I'm going to give you this spot. Didn't really put up that big of a fight.
Now nobody between Bell and Custer, 2 seconds separating 1 and 2.
So let's see the speed that Bell has. I feel like Chandler's been holding Christopher up a little bit. Not that he was doing anything wrong. That's his job to hold him up. But let's see if Christopher Bell can start running Custer down. And watch his hand, left side window in the 81. That's the, all right, bud, you go ahead and go. And he did that, Steve, because that was as far as the 20 had gotten up on the 81. Before, he was always like his left or the quarter pound. He wasn't door to door.
So now is he going to be so nice to Bonsignor? Right, it's one thing to Christopher Bell with 3 wins here in 3 starts. We'll see if the modified driver, although he turns left, gets a pretty good run underneath the 81. Bottom of the screen, remember earlier we saw contact between the 48 and the 16, some words on the radio. I don't think it was AJ's fault. I'm not sure Parker sees it that way. We'll see if back there at 12th.
Bonsignor to the outside now of Chandler Smith.
What a move. Now he's got Chandler where he wanted him. He wanted the outside. Everybody's been trying to pass on the inside. That was an aggressive move. Great driving.
So much racecraft. I know it's his first start in one of these cars, 36 years old, but won that modified race today, tying Teddy Christopher for 3rd all-time in the modified win list, 3-time champ. And you can tell Marty, I know he might have to learn the car, but there's zero question that he has so much racecraft.
Boy, what an impressive debut for the Xfinity Series for Justin Bonsignor, who, yes, did win the modified race earlier today. And Steve, that's a great point. He said, my modified, I know exactly where everything is on that car. To me, these Xfinity cars just feel so big, so just getting used to the car. And he's mentioned that a few times on the radio. He's told the team the car is really good. I'm just learning, every lap learning so far. He's been very impressive. Kim?
And Chandler Smith having been just passed by 2 of his teammates. The interesting thing is when he was running second, he said, I don't know how we're second. We are a 3rd to 5th place car, so we need to take a swing at this next time we're down to be a winning car. Sure enough, now he finds himself right in that position, in that 4th position where he guessed they should be running. He said the front end is non-existent. It is numb. It is so tight. So right now, Chandler Smith does not have the car he needs under him to be a winning race car here this afternoon.
How about Carson Kvapil in the 88 going up against the Cup driver in the 17 of Alex Bowman in that HendrickCars.com number 17. Parker Kligerman with a front row seat of this battle.
I feel like at 88, I think he's got enough track position on him. He just needs to overdrive the entry here and kind of just take the spot.
He did.
Young man's done a nice job every opportunity he's gotten.
Allgaier once again trying to get by that 16 of Allmendinger. This time he completes the pass.
It's been anything but smooth for the 7, but you can't argue the speed that they bring. Once again, another fast car.
So check this out. We talked about it. Bonsignor saw how long it took Christopher Bell to get by the 81. He's like, well, you know what? If you're going to run that bottom, I'm going to jump up here. And that is a move, Steve, that we see a lot with the modifieds, right? Using a lot of racetrack. We just talked about how everybody's just stuck right on the bottom. He was willing to go there because of the confidence he had in the knowledge of the racetrack. Even though he doesn't know this car, he has a lot of laps here, and he just said, let's put it up here and see what happens.
Yeah, I hope if Kevin Harvick's watching, I hope he had a smile. That was a little Kevin Harvick-esque, as you see a big slide here. He kind of runs that second lane on exit with confidence, not necessarily to pass, but that's what that looked like for the 19.
There's Cole Custer, and he starts to put a few laps or cars a lap down.
A big week for Cole Custer and really the entire Haas group. It's no secret, right? Stewart Haas Racing selling their charter, shutting down their Cup organization. A lot of question marks what was going to happen this week. It was announced that they're going to have basically a Haas factory team next year that plans to run 2 Xfinity cars and 1 Cup car. No more details yet on who the drivers are. It would shock me if Cole Custer isn't part of that organization, but nothing's been announced. We don't know. That's got to ease the mind of some of their employees, though, and maybe help the rest of this season kind of be just a little bit more confidence.
And I got a little bit of insight from Joe Custer as far as he said that, yes, we are going to still have 1 charter for the Cup Series, 2 Xfinity Series teams. The one thing that everybody has to realize is we're really a new team. I've got to go out and find the drivers for the Xfinity Series. I've got to find the driver for the Cup Series, and I have to get sponsors. These are all new things, even though they have the experience of almost a little over a decade of experience being a team owner. They still have to kind of attack this as a new team.
Well, the key to that, though, is that if they're able to keep their people, you have Jonathan Toney, a championship-winning crew chief, has done a really nice job. Davin Zivto, he's done a nice job of coming in, and remember last year, they made him a crew chief. He was an engineer. They made him a crew chief, and they immediately ran well. There was a lot of apprehension about what kind of job Davin could do, but he's done a great job. So they have a great foundation to build off of.
A lot of racing all around the track. Up front, Cole Custer. Good battle for 6th and 16th. Only 64 remain here in New Hampshire. Under 60 laps remaining of the Sci Aps 200 from here in New Hampshire. And Heim in that 26. Now trying to hang on to the spot as Sammy Smith is trying to take it away. But it was the 98 of Riley Herbst that has lost the most positions, battling for position with that 26.
Yeah, these guys were having a really good battle, and a little bit of contact off the corner that allowed Riley to get alongside. But you can see where Riley is. He actually ended up losing a couple spots trying to make that pass on Corey Heim.
58 to go in the race. It's getting to that point. Remember, they can run about 80 on fuel. So from the last pit stop around lap 93, no one can make it to the finish at lap 200. That'd be well over 100 laps. So, you know, I think the teams can run probably 30 more laps. The question is, will they? It's not a huge advantage for new tires with traffic, but in clean air, clean racetracks, single file green flag pit stops, I think you're going to pick up 7, 8, 9/10 of a second a lap. So when you see how close the field is, Cole Custer with a 3.5-second lead, he can be a little conservative and wait for the cars behind him to stop, not lose the lead if he comes the next lap. But if you're Bell, Bonsignor, Smith, Creed, the other Smith, both Smiths, Heim, Merritt, you know, do you try to jump and leap the guy in front of you by coming early? Now the trick is, you know, you see all these cars sliding around, all these close calls. It only takes one of those close calls to turn into a car backwards, and you can kind of be the wrong side of it. So we'll see who is aggressive on the pit call.
Does that force the issue if it's Christopher Bell?
Well, that's the advantage. Custer knows he has 3.6 seconds, so he definitely shouldn't come first. There's no reason. He's earned the right to wait having that lead. So I think he could sit and just kind of wait 2, 3 laps at the most. I wouldn't want to go more than 3. I really wouldn't want to go more than 2, because unlike most tracks, when you go out on cold tires, it doesn't. The first corner isn't magical. You know, you just don't fire off. You actually maybe slip and slide for a couple laps. And if you put your driver in too much of a risk, like if you call Custer as the 1 and the 98 are in a duel right here, you could kind of get him to drive himself into a mistake if you put the pressure on him.
So you see this battle right here. Ryan Sieg actually pitted a couple laps ago. He just ran a 31.35 compared to the leader 31.74, so about a half a second on tires.
And that's for Sieg, who I don't think quite has leader pace. So I think Custer, I will assume he's going to pick up even more speed, probably 0.8 of a second.
Yeah, you have to remember there was no practice, so the teams really don't know how much tires are worth, and everybody on pit road just watched Ryan Sieg make that pit stop. Right there, he was 3/4 of a second faster than the leader, so there is speed in putting on tires.
Yeah, Custer's fast lap of the race is almost 1 second faster than he's running right now. But like I said, he can sit and wait. I think it really comes down to Bell. Also, Bell not running for points makes his gamble a little bit easier maybe.
Now, when you come down pit road before everybody else trying to get those new tires on early, you expose yourself to the caution coming out at the wrong time and being a lap down.
Jeff, give me the challenge for the 19 of Bonsignor. Not a lot of green flag pit stops and modifieds. When you look at pit roads, how would you rank New Hampshire?
Well, I think the key to that is I don't think it's a difficult pit road to get on, as there's a great battle continuing between the 1 and the 98. However, the lack of experience, we just saw him lose time going down pit road. There's an art to getting onto pit road, maximizing that pace, not get caught speeding, and that's something that he has no experience on. So if he does a good job, it will be because of all the work he did in the simulator. And here comes Christopher Bell.
Bell on pit road now. So Marty, Christopher Bell trying to force the hand of Cole Custer.
Yep, Steve called it. 51 to go. Christopher Bell comes to pit road. He said he needs to turn better on exit, but mid-corner is where he needs the most help. So a few other cars coming down pit road as well. So he was 3 seconds behind Custer when the stops happened. Kim, we'll see if he can gain some time here.
As other cars making stops, including Riley Herbst, already on the left side for fresh Goodyear tires. He said the balance is okay on entry, then it gets loose as the leader, Cole Custer, comes in. The main chatter on the radio for him has been, where is Christopher Bell running? The team said, you're doing with your lap something very similar to what Christopher is doing, just a little loose firing off for Cole Custer as he hopes to regain the lead when he gets back on track. Marty?
So let's see how Justin Bonsignor does under his first green flag stop here in the Xfinity Series. He said the car was really good and honestly one of the best cars the longer they ran. We'll see if if he can gain some track position. Came in third. Also, you see up front of pit road, Corey Heim coming in. Said his car struggling on exit. And Austin Hill had some really good long run speed, but he too, a little bit too tight the later they ran, Kim.
As Chandler Smith is going to make his stop, remember, he said they felt like they were a 3rd to 5th place car during that last run. Needed to make adjustment. You're seeing it right there, that chassis adjustment. He absolutely had no feel in the front end of that race car as they continue to make service for fresh Goodyear tires, snow coat fuel. Marty, service continues. Looks like maybe a problem on Corey Heim's car. Yeah, they've had a long time here trying to get the left front on Corey Heim's car. Again, came in running top 5, and then they set the car down on the gun there, and he leaves with that under the car. So that was a big long stop for Corey Heim and his race team. Sam Mayer also came down pit road as well. Sheldon Creed just a moment ago, but Corey Heim lost a ton of track position here, Rick, on that pit stop.
Yeah, when they dropped the right side, it looked like they set it on the hose, and then the rear tire changer had to come to the front because they couldn't get that gun free to go over and do the front tire. And Steve, they can do that, right, without bringing another gun over?
Yeah, so we're going to see right here that the tire change is pulling on the hose because it is sitting under the right front tire. So you see he kind of goes back and forth, but he doesn't have an option. So the rear tire changer comes up and takes the tire off. So this is all just waiting on the left front. The issue probably happens when you run out to the right side of the car. If you get your loop in the wrong spot, it can land underneath the right front tire. Watch this, Jeff. You're talking about entrance.
Well, this is just lack of experience, and Justin trying to get to pit road as quickly as he can and just completely out of control. And that, you know, that's, again, it's just lack of experience. He was a second behind this 20 car when they pitted.
Yeah, and we haven't heard of any penalties as of yet, as we still have quite a few that need to come to pit road for their stops. The top 7 still need to come to pit road.
Yeah, so we just said he was a second behind the 20 car when that pit stop started. Now he's 4 seconds behind. So, you know, that's track position. Just, again, it's just all these little things that he just doesn't have familiarity with.
And the leaders, or the ones that haven't pitted, you mentioned, Rick, what's their plan? Well, they're hoping right now we see a yellow. 62 laps on this fuel run. If we assume they can go 80, we'll say they can go bake 20 more. Maybe we've had some yellows in there. I like this call for Carson Kvapil. Let him lead the race. Let him get a little feel. He's done a really nice job behind the wheel. Maybe you get lucky, get a caution. Remember, this is the 88. We don't see this car number all the time. Behind him, the 9 of Brandon Jones. You would think, man, he needs to be conservative and score points. I actually like this. I think the 9 needs to quit worrying about points. We're looking for not a Hail Mary, but let's take some risks, take some gambles, see if we can get a little bit of good luck to go our way.
Alex Bowman, because of this strategy, is currently in the 3rd spot. Highest he's been in this race. Again, starting way in the back to start this race.
You know, think about Retzlaff. He had that penalty to start the race. He was a lap down, like a lap 5. He's recovered all the way to 6th. And while he's 16 seconds behind and a pit stop is going to hurt him, he'll lose a lap because of where he's running. If he gets a yellow right now, it changes the entire complexion of the day. There's only currently 13 cars on the lead lap.
Kyle Weatherman running in the 4th spot in this 91.
You see Drive Smart on the quarter panels, nothing on the hood. I'd love to see a partner join up with Kyle Weatherman and give him the support. You know, there are times, Jeff, where, you know, it's hard in this series to try to understand kind of what they have for equipment because there is a variety of equipment. But it seems like Kyle always gets kind of the best. As now we have the 88 up 3rd lane. Looks like the tires are up, maybe just a wiggle in corner entry.
Yeah, and probably a lot of buildup on the tires. You know, tires are hot. You get up out of the groove. It picks up all that debris. Now no pace whatsoever. Let's see what happened. 98, he's on new tires. Yeah, I almost feel like that's a trap you get caught in sometimes. When you have older tires and people around you have newer tires, you drive in the corner with them and now you're going too fast. Like you do not have the pace that they have because they have newer tires. Looked like he just got in a little bit too deep.
So you see right there, it's Kvapil, Jones, Bowman, Weatherman. Let's not forget, there you go. Custer, first car of the cars that can make it. He's leading the group that can make it to the finish. Bell back in 8th is next, and then Smith in the 81. So that gives you an idea when we see the final few pit stops. Custer should be the leader of the race unless we get a yellow before.
Bonsignor has dropped back to 5th of those cars that have already been on pit road. We'll see if he can grab a couple spots, but the laps are winding down. Only 41 still to go with Carson Kvapil out in front. And that pit strategy that has Carson Kvapil up front, we will see them on pit road shortly as Kvapil and Jones still to pit. We see Parker Retzlaff on pit road now. Alex Bowman is coming off of pit road after his stop. Kim.
Yeah, just finishing up service there. They were hoping for a caution. Crew chief Greg Ives said early in the run, we are going to run it long. We have not been able to take this car anywhere, hoping for a caution. They didn't get it. They brought him down. Alex said it feels like he's just battling the race car way too tight, so they did make an adjustment as he blends on. And they had an uncontrolled tire during that stop, a slower stop early in the day too, so it has not been a great day for Alex Bowman, who was hoping for extra seat time, Marty, to help him in tomorrow's Cup race.
Yeah, that is kind of insult to injury for the 17. Now we see the 9 come down to pit road. Marty.
Steve, agree with you. Why not try and stay out there and see if you can get something to fall your way for Brandon Jones in this race team. But overall, after a very rough 3 straight weeks of DNFs, this has been a solid day for Brandon Jones at one of his better racetracks, trying to play a little bit of strategy, but they do not get it to work out for them. Carson Kvapil also coming down pit road. He's been so impressive in his starts so far this year. He still has 4 races left in this 88 car. Coming up, Indianapolis will be the next start for Carson. He's run just outside the top 10 for much of the day here, coming for his final stop with 33 to go.
This is a hard. I mean, Junior Motorsports has the extra car with the 88. Hendricks here with the 17. There's a lot of pull on the pit crew department. Oh boy, this is the yellow they were all looking for.
It might have come just a little bit late though, as we see Armani Williams spinning and bringing the caution out. Under 32 laps to go.
Your right front is flat here. Keep it on the bottom here. Get all the way to the bottom.
Right rear flat as well.
So normally in Xfinity Series racing, we would think the leaders would be done because they've put 3 sets of tires on, but with no practice, they have an extra set. We'll see if anybody decides to use them. The 6 making his way back around. No interliners here at the short track. That's why the car sits so low on the wheels.
You just called it a short track.
It is to me. I don't care what the rules are. I know it's 1 mile.
That's why you saw the surprise in my face.
I know they say it's, you know, I know they do it by track length, but as an old school crew chief, you run a short track car here. You run brake ducts here. You don't run interliners here, so everything seems like a short track.
Here again, the reason for the caution. This is the 7th of the day.
Well, it's really late in the corner to be getting that loose. In contact with the inside wall. Oh, no contact.
Slid right through the opening.
A little contact. It flat spot. Oh, here it comes. I knew I had to hit it somewhere. But, so you said it. So now this caution came out. So you've got all those guys that just pitted, you know, with brand new tires.
Well, so currently scoring as Quapple on the lead lap in 16th, the last car with the newest tires. In front of him, take a Ryan Sieg. He pitted at lap 142. So, you know, I think some will pit just because there's, you know, you're not going to lose any spots. If you're Parker Kligerman or Love or Allmendinger, you're basically at the back of the lead lap now. I would come put my tires on, because say we run 10 more, you know, this would be my last sit. There's no reason to save them with 31 to go. And that will cycle the 88 up. I don't think the leader would come. Wow. So they think tires are a big value. Now I would flip it. I would stay out. If I'm somebody back there in the middle of the pack, for sure, if I'm the 88, I'm staying on the racetrack. Kim.
And as you see, Chandler Smith, interesting, because originally they were not going to bring him down pit road. They did elect to bring him down, put fresh Goodyear tires. Cole Custer there in the middle. Jonathan Tony said, we have 17 laps on this set of tires. That's about where they start to tank. I think we're best off if we take 4 fresh Goodyear tires. A little tight for Cole Custer, Marty.
Crew Chief Tyler Allen made this call for Christopher Bell on the bottom of your screen, because Bell said, I don't know, I'm just not nearly as connected as I was earlier and nearly as connected as I need to be. So Bell needs a much better handling race car. The 4 fresh Goodyears will certainly help out. But Steve, how about this call for all the leaders to come to pit road here with 30 to go? The extra set certainly helps out.
The extra set of tires. A couple cars stay on the racetrack, the 2 and the 88. So brand new tires will be 3rd on back. 30 to go. The shootout is here, Rick. I know there's been weather and a lot going on, but you are in for a treat here. This is going to be an exciting finish.
Looking forward to the final 30 laps from here in New England. Steve, you mentioned it. This changes everything. Jesse Love and Carson Quapple, they will restart 1-2.
The biggest break is for Quapple. Jesse Love gambling a little bit here. He pitted on lap 150, so he's got a fair amount of laps on his tires, 22. Quapple essentially, it says 5, but almost 0 green flag laps. As soon as he came out of pit road, the caution came out. So he is essentially starting like on scuffed tires, and that's a best case scenario at this racetrack, being able to have a little bit of scuff, a little bit of heat in that tire. Great call by this team to put him in this position.
I mean, he started last. I mean, I don't mean
right.
like really bad. I mean last. The last car in the starting grid because qualifying got rained out. So,
and Quapple has really such a limited amount of time behind the wheel. This is just his 4th start in the Xfinity Series this year. But as you guys mentioned, a 4th place and a 2nd place finish in his first 2 starts. So now in a great position as they will come back around and be 27 laps to go.
He has a lot of racing experience. He ran at short tracks all over Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina with great success. He is not going to be intimidated with this late race restart, Kim.
And how about the call by Patrick Donahue to give Parker Kligerman just 2 tires? Originally, when they first brought him down, it was going to be a 4-tire stop. Then they said, nope, we got to have track position. A last-minute audible to take 2 for Parker. Remember, he told us yesterday in our practice and qualifying coverage when he was on pack that his goal before the Olympic break was to be 7th in points. How do you do that? With good finishes. Gained a lot of track position with that call.
Now he has to try to keep it on the restart, which is tough for everyone in the field.
Looking at Patrick Donahue there.
All right, if you're the 2, is it an obvious, you got to take the outside of the front row, right? The outside just fires so much better.
You have to take the top. The outside, as you said, always leaves the restart zone with much more speed. You have to take the top. The question is, what does Custer do, right? Because he knows that 2 is on old tires. He goes to the top, Custer goes to the bottom. That is an interesting call.
So he believes that Quapple's going to, even though he's in the non-preferred starting line, he thinks we get down to 1, the 88's going to have more grip.
That's exactly what he's thinking. Marty.
Let's chat with Danny Stockman. Walk me through the reason to make this call and leave him out, Danny.
Well, we're going to run about 15th today. There's about a half a tenth to a tenth of fall off in that run right there. So I think we could net gain. I'm sure we're going to bleed, but we're going to have a net gain, I hope. So.
Sometimes that's the battle, Steve, right? It may not be to win the race, but they were running about 18th to Danny's point. Why not make this call?
The best way to call a race to admit what you have. You know, Danny Stockman didn't make any excuses there. We were going to run about 15th. I mean, what happens if it doesn't work? You run 16th? There's only 16 cars in the lead lap. I love the game, but why not?
Yeah, the whole move right here for Jesse Love. Number 1, get a great launch. Leave the restart zone with good speed. Then you have to carry a lot of speed into 1 and hope it's 6. The great question is, behind him is Christopher Bell. What is his play? He knows Love is on old tires. Is he going to try to pop him 3 wide, or is he going to try to split the middle?
What I heard in that explanation is hope it sticks. Drive it into 1 and hope it sticks. We're about to find out. Little bump there from Bell. 3 wide into 1.
Great work by the 88 to accelerate and get clear. Now just put the laps together. 26 to go.
Cole Custer fighting for second right now on that 0-0. Jesse Love up the racetrack. He falls back to 3rd. Now Carson Quapple. Can he hang on to it with the older tires? 25 to go. 3 wide for 3rd. Jesse Love now with the 20 on his inside. C. Bell trying to take that spot away. Oh, and the slide behind him. Looks like Chandler Smith goes around.
Now hold your line, hold your line. Don't roll, hold your line, hold your line.
And the 8th caution has come out.
Last one right here, get it rolling.
Chandler running in the 5th spot when he got sideways. And another restart.
Yeah, that's what we talked about, Rick, how difficult restarts are. Everybody's really aggressive, especially late in the race. Here it is, Chandler Smith underneath the 18. Sheldon Creed. Yeah, just hard racing, really.
Stay off the wall, so.
Contact made, but it was only the 81 of Chandler Smith that goes around, bringing the caution out for the 8th time. We'll have a choose and a restart when we return. Closing in on the final 20 laps of racing from here, New Hampshire Motor Speedway in the Sci Aps 200. Carson Kvapil trying to hold off Cole Custer, who has led the most laps today at 94. And that last restart, we were wondering what happened with Jesse Love. Well, here's what happened.
Here's a great shot. Jesse Love on the outside. He's the control car, meaning he's got to fire. As soon as he gets in this restart zone, he can fire at any point. He goes right there, but then the 20 of Bell gets into the back of him, trying to push him. And when he does, it picks the rear tires off the ground, and it no longer is accelerating, and that allowed the inside lane to get going.
Tight shots there from the 20 of Seabell. All right, so if you're Carson Kvapil, what do you need to potentially get to victory lane here? Well, listen to the pep talk.
I don't know. I just got to settle down and put some good laps in.
Just like Dover. Calm it down. You've been in these positions all over the country with the Cars Tour, and you whoop their butt every time. You can do it.
I love that. You know, take him out of something he's never been in, right? Don't let him think this is the Xfinity Series. It's big. It's just another race. And you've done this multiple times. Cars Tour is really competitive racing. You beat some of the very best in that business. Go do it here. And that just puts him in his comfort zone.
Junior Motorsports is just, their late model is producing talent, right? I mean, Josh Berry came through their late model. Now they have Carson Kvapil in it.
All right, what are you going to do?
Carson looks like he's going to stay outside. Cole Custer will be on the inside.
I think that's the right choice of both. I think you have to. If you're a Custer, I think you have to take the front row.
Marty.
Let's chat with Andrew Overstreet. I didn't think this was going to work out this way, did you, Andrew? But what did your driver learn from Dover when he finished second there that might help him here?
He just learned to be more committed to what these restarts are going to be. He's trusting in our system the whole time. This whole clearance group has been awesome, and we've done a lot of work with getting him on the simulator. We've had a car that's as fast as Xfinity's 10G, but we didn't have a track position. We just had to do something different, and we talked all week. We were going to be aggressive, and good Lord let it work out for us.
There you go, Steve. Sometimes you never know when that caution's going to fall your way. Certainly has for this Junior Motorsports team in the 88.
Hey, you got to just keep trying to call a race where you have a chance, right? When you sit on top of the pit box, what can I do to, quote, get lucky? What can I do to put myself in a position to catch a break? That's what the 88 did. Very nice job. Now we'll see if the young man behind the wheel can get a great start with Custer to his inside and Bell behind.
How big of a deal would it be? The driver of the 88 could find victory lane. Back up through the gears they go.
Really great work by the 88 to realize the 20 was looking pretty wide middle. He still kind of got to get shoved off the ball.
Goes Judson Bonsignor in the 19, and that'll bring the caution out again. Sam Mayer also involved here.
The question is, did the 00 of Custer get by Kvapil before this caution happened to take the lead?
Yeah, just a reminder, as we see damage on the Austin Hill machine as well. It's really simple for NASCAR. This decision just goes back to the loops. What happens is when the caution comes out, it basically fields the freeze to the, let me try this again. Freezes the field to the previous loop. It's electronically done, as we see Bonsignor still sitting there. So NASCAR will just go to the, lineup that the computer says. This isn't a camera situation. That's only to determine the finish of the race.
This result for Bonsignor is not going to be indicative of how good of a job he did. Ignore the finish. Great work by him today.
Tried to block there. Went down in front of Sammy Smith. Maybe got a little help there, sure enough, from Sammy to go around, and Sam Mayer was right there as well.
Well, I'm not so sure that Mayer didn't get into him. Watch this. Watch the one car. I don't know. They're just all bottled up there together. One car came in later. They was already into the back of the 19. Restarts. Here you go. Here's this battle. Great shot.
So you see right there, the 00 is pretty clear of the 88. The NASCAR saying the 00 was the leader, so there's obviously a loop line somewhere off turn 2 there that will score him the leader on board with Parker Kligerman. All right, so
this yellow lights blinking there.
Yeah, so this is what it looks like, right? So there's a loop basically here in the middle of the corner and one here on exit. So it really goes back to, I really think in the middle of the corner, the 88 had already been passed by the 00. Maybe even on exit, right? So you got the 00 leading, it's under green, and then at some point the yellow comes out. Like I said, it's automatic. It's not even really a human judgment. The computer says, hey, the 00 passed the 88 and crossed loop X, and then the yellow came out, so it scores it that way.
And that means another restart.
I've argued it for years, Rick, but that electronics, man, that doesn't lie.
So now Cole Custer will continue to add to his laps led as they roll under caution here before they determine the restart order.
So now, if you're Cole Custer, it's almost guaranteed he's going to pick the outside. That's been the move that's mostly worked. But what does Quaffle do in that 88? Does he restart on the bottom, or does he restart on the top and try to come out of turn 2 running second and then try to take the fight to Custer? That's hard to do. It's hard to give up the front row. And I would want him to start on the inside, but you could make a real strategy of, hey, let's start on the outside. Let's get a great start. Let's leave with Custer and then try to go racing.
I could argue the other. I would say what you said. Start second on the outside, and let's just see what happens between Bell and Custer, because maybe they both don't exit turn 2. Maybe this is our chance to sneak on through.
What did we hear last week? Winners take the front row.
You're right.
Winners take front row. Well, we'll see. The choose will be when we come back, but that's Bonsignor around, and the caution comes out again. And a reminder, coming up next on USA, it's U.S. Olympic team trials. Swimming from Indianapolis. Yeah, you see mock-up of the Eiffel Tower there, just outside of Lucas Oil Stadium, where they built an indoor pool. We've seen record crowds turn out, and we'll see who makes that Team USA. Presented by Xfinity, those swimming trials.
What would be your move? I mean, you're a collegiate athlete. If you had to be in the pool, what stroke would you excel in? Right?
It'd have to be freestyle.
Really?
I don't think I could do any of the other ones.
You couldn't do the backstroke?
Not successfully.
Although I just assumed you couldn't do any of them well. I was just wondering which one you would pick.
You just said. Okay. I think my best bet is freestyle. But yeah, backstroke, That way, at least I could breathe. I just don't like to not be able to breathe. So backstroke would probably work.
Well, that takes swimming off the list.
Marty.
Hey, Rick, an innocent bystander in all of that a moment ago was Austin Hill, who they still have not gotten the car fixed quite yet. He said something is bent somewhere, especially in the left front. So that's going to be the focus right now for the 21. But you go back, last week they lost 29 points at Iowa. They had tire issues all Saturday at Iowa. And then today, being in this late wreck, they're going to lose 30-plus points today. And that could be, Steve, almost 60 points this team would lose in back-to-back weeks, which would just be incredible. Feels like just a few weeks ago, Austin Hill was leading the regular season championship. As of right now, where they run, he would be 76 points behind.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they just need, they've had good cars. I can't blame it on speed. It just hasn't really gone their way. All right, Jeff, some debate on the choose. Here you go. Quapple takes the front row.
Yeah, I think that was the right call. It's worth discussing, but I just don't think you can give up that front row. And remember, in this regular season point championship, they're also racing Chandler Smith, who you just saw in that spin earlier, so he's all the way down to 22nd as well. So both of the guys first and second in regular season points are having a bad day.
And remember what else is on the line. As we were riding along with Christopher Bell, every start in the Xfinity Series here at New Hampshire, he's won. He's looking to make it 4 wins in a row if he can get by these 2.
The disadvantage Christopher has is that he's a nice guy, and he's racing, you know, he's racing Custer, who's racing 4 points. And so, you know, Quaffle's trying to earn his way. He gets a little bit of a, you know, a little bit of a slide. But Bell, you know, you can't really go take a guy, move a guy that you're racing that's racing for points. You got to be a little bit respectful.
Yeah, and Allgaier, third car on the inside, he's had a completely up and down day, and here he is kind of back in position to make something of it.
Jesse Love on those old tires still hanging around in 6th.
Sheldon Creed up there in 5th. We will see. Now, 12 laps remaining from the Magic Mile. Great launch from Custer. 3 wide per second. Creed on the inside. Here comes Sheldon Creed. And Allgaier making that outside line work as they have shuffled Carson Quapple back.
That 7 car has great fire-off speed. You see him roll to the outside of the 20. He will get there.
Caution has come out again.
Yellow's out. Got one wreck behind you here.
Haley Deegan in the 15. And that 92 of Nathan Bird. A lot of damage to the back end. Nathan, a 24-year-old out of Litchfield Park, Arizona. This was just his second start. Bird was running in the 35th position, 3 laps down. And the AMR safety crew to him. So take a look at what happened.
Looks 3 wide. This is going to be a, oh. Wow. 15 definitely hit the 92, but I can't tell from that angle. There was 3 wide there, right? Did somebody get into the 15, or did she just misjudge the corner speed and get into the left rear of the 92? It was big contact either way.
Yeah, they were just kind of, you know, everybody battling for the same position, and ultimately somebody got in his left rear quarter pound and around he went.
So they will head into the infield care center, get checked out. See a thumbs up there from Bird. And Haley Deegan on pit road to the attention of her crew. Now it'll be under 10 laps to go.
Yeah, and some different players at the front. You know, the 00 still controls the race, but now Bell will restart second or choose second. We'll see where he'll actually restart. Creed as well, and then Allgaier. So, you know, Creed and Allgaier basically jumped a row, which puts them in kind of striking distance, right? That 7 car Remember, they were so good early. They came down and checked them gear temperature at the end of stage 1. I thought they were in good position for strategy. They kind of went to the back. Then they had a really slow pit stop, you know, which they're trying to clean that up because they have had great cars and just maybe a little bit of trouble executing throughout the year. But great cars is what you would want to circle.
Jeff, you mentioned Christopher Bell's a good guy. That might count against him. But now, when he could line up on the inside of that 00, does that give him a little more room to maybe run aggressively into turn 1 and 2?
Yeah, I think it's exactly what he wants. I mean, obviously he prefer the outside, but unless he gets a lead, he's not going to get that choice. This gives him, it kind of puts it into his, back in his hands where he can just try to get a great launch, and door to door, you know, is different than just taking your front bumper and shoving in somebody's rear bumper. So yeah, I think this frees him up a little bit. It's exactly what he needed if he's going to try to win this race. But, you know, we saw Allgaier making a really aggressive move. He jumped on the outside of all of them and was working his way forward, so don't count him out either. We're already seeing, we talked about restarts all day long, and now we're showing, you know, we're really understanding why they're so aggressive, why the drivers get up on it and have to make stuff happen, and the result of that is the cautions.
How did we get here? Will be 8 laps to go when they come back around. Again, wet weather tires is what they ended up going to after they came off of pit road, so they switched over to wet weather tires, and that's the way this race started.
Yeah, we're not sure what to make of it. We didn't know how it would look. To be quite honest, it looked normal. Wet weather tires worked so well. Everybody looked like they had pretty decent grip. Cole Custer jumped out to an early lead.
Competition caution at lap 10. When the track was dry enough, they went from the wet weather tires back to the slicks.
Parker Kligerman, AJ Allmendinger, Riley Herbst, all battling for position. Parker goes around.
Last week's winner, Sam Mayer, off to a good start, won stage 1.
Then it was Christopher Bell winning stage 2. Under caution, we saw Leland Honeyman spin.
Chandler Smith. Good car most of the day. Contact and around he goes.
Justin Bonsignore, modified driver, making his first start look great early, running upside the top 5 and just contact. He got spun around. You mentioned it, Jeff. The finishing order won't show as well as that young man did behind the wheel.
Most recent caution coming out for Haley Deegan and Nathan Bird. Big contact there for Nathan Bird into the wall. And now we're ready for the choose.
This will be 6 to go when we take the green.
So don't count out Sheldon Creed here. Sheldon Creed looking for his first Xfinity win. Back there in 3rd place. If Bell picks the bottom, which we assume he's going to, that allows Sheldon Creed to be right on the bumper of Cole Custer if he picks the top. Custer with a late decision. There you go. All that makes sense. Now, what's the pathway to winning? Custer, it's about getting a launch, beating everyone to turn 1, hoping no one roughs you up. The 20 car, he has got to have the kind of the restart of his life because it's been so difficult to restart on the bottom. His chance to win all starts with entering side by side into 1, Marty.
Let's chat with Jonathan Toney. So how different is the game going to be now for your driver with one of the best in the Cup Series starting inside of him?
I didn't catch what you said there, Marty, but, you know, part of this 00 bunch, you got Cole Custer on the outside here, got Christopher Bell on the bottom, one of the best in the world. As far as I'm concerned, 2 of the best in the world going at it right here. So looking forward to it, and like I say, proud of everybody, and see how it turns out here.
Rick, I'll say the rain tires have been run twice in the Xfinity Series. The first time they were run, Chicago. Guess who won that day? Cole Custer. We'll see if he can go undefeated with the rain tires here.
That's pretty great. 2 of the best in the world right here battling it out. It'll be 6 laps to go. Seabell on the inside. Cole Custer on the outside. Custer's best finish here, 2nd. Back in 2019, he finished 2nd to Seabell. Green flag back in the air. And a great launch by Creed again. Sheldon Creed fighting for that second spot, but here comes Bell. Bell on the inside.
Custer's car did not stick when he tried to go back to the throttle. Just never turned.
Contact made as they go into 3.
Still there.
Up the racetrack they go. Creed still waiting back there patiently for an opening. Now 5 to go. Bell still to the inside. Cole Custer surging ahead on the outside.
Bell's got to make this happen quickly. Custer's car is going to get better the longer they run.
Caution comes out.
Caution's out. Caution's out.
And once again, we see the 15 of Haley Deegan with a problem. This time, Mason Massey in the 14 involved too. And look at all of the foam that you're seeing on the racetrack. Door foam, Steve?
Door foam from somebody. I was waiting to see which door was missing. We'll see if it's Patrick Emmerling in the 07. Nope, both sides are on that one. Somebody's missing a panel somewhere. And there you have it.
Yeah, Ryan Ellis.
And that door foam sits in between the door skin and the roll cage. It's just an absorbing energy. You hit the wall, you make contact, that foam just takes some of the G-forces out of the impact.
I'm going to take a look at what happens. Oh, the 15 just off the racetrack into the door. I think it was the 15.
Yep.
No, there's the 15 coming by there. So it wasn't the 15. Somebody else got into it.
What a battle between the 20 and the 00. It looked like Bell had fallen back, but then
right there, the 00, his car just did not turn. He drove the car in the corner, had to wait forever to go back to the throttle. But now his tires have heat in them. Now they're starting to stick better, and that's why Christopher Bell wasn't able to clear him.
And a great battle for the lead. Another restart coming up. They're still cleaning up in turn 2 right now. Here's a little contact we saw between the 8 and 48. Sammy Smith, Parker Kligerman right there. And as you see the truck still out cleaning up, that means overtime. This will be the 8th overtime race this year. Now, the leader at the scheduled distance has only won 2 of the 7 of those previous overtime races. Same strategy, guys?
Oh, I think so. I think
Custer outside, Bell inside.
Yeah, and what Custer's nervous about is what does he need to do different to prevent that from happening again, where gets in the corner, the car does not turn, does not stick. That's Custer's concern. The only thing he can do in my eyes is he's got to make sure he has those tires cleaned up really, really good, all the rubber off of them, as much heat in them as he can get, Marty.
Let's chat with Tyler Allen, first-year crew chief here. And so what advice can you give a Cup Series driver on how he can maybe do that restart a little bit better?
He's pretty good around this place, so I think he knows what he's doing. Just got to get through a few more corners.
So same game plan here, go inside?
Yep, same game plan. He knows what he's doing. Get all his switches right, and we'll see if we can come out of here with a win.
I know Christopher's talked about how good the car was early on. Has it kind of fallen off as the day's gone on?
I don't know if it's fallen off. Some of the guys have gotten a little better. You know, it's been chopped up here the last bit of this stage, so just a few more laps and we'll find out.
All right, Tyler hoping to lead Christopher Bell to staying undefeated here at New Hampshire. He's never lost an Xfinity Series race. Could come down to maybe one more restart, Rick.
Yeah, let's take a look at those 3 wins. It started back in 2018.
Christopher Bell is an exceptionally talented race car driver. He's come up through the Toyota program. Been with Toyota for forever. And this is part of the reason. All the success here But the development work to get to this point is what's made him so good, on top of just the natural talent that he has.
First 4 starts won by A.J. Allmendinger at the Charlotte Roval. Other drivers that have won their first 3, Joey Logano, Martin Truex Jr., and of course Christopher Bell here.
Well, the other thing I noticed there is Christopher Bell, 29 years old. I don't think he ages, because he looks just like he did back in 2018. That was 6 years ago. The guy looks exactly the same.
I watched him when he was late model racing. When he first started getting adjusted to asphalt, Toyota had him working, you know, in late models and, you know, racing around North Carolina, Virginia. And as soon as they put him in one of those cars, he immediately was competitive. And yes, he looked the same then as he does now.
Yeah, it's.
You probably can't say the same for us.
Maybe driving for him is the fountain of youth. Getting ready for the choose again.
How about, you know, Custer, Bell, Creed we covered, Allgaier, Qualpel hanging in there. We have Kligerman up there on those 2 tires. How about Ryan Sieg, 7th, at 39 car, once again, just running really well. Herbst, Alex Bowman, it's been an up and down day, all the way back to 9th, even though we had that penalty from the green flag cycle. We have Heim in 10th.
You can see all the cars. You know, the drivers are just swerving the cars around on the racetrack. And what you want to do is you want to make sure you're doing that in a clean lane. You don't want to be swerving your tires in a dirty lane and just picking up more of that debris. But you've got to get them cleaned up. You see them spinning the rear tires, leaving black marks, just trying to clean them up, get heat in them.
Remember Sheldon Creed in the 18, still looking for his first ever Xfinity Series win. He'll be following Cole Custer into turn 1 on that outside line.
So Christopher Bell has to believe that Custer's weakness is entering turn 1. So what does he need to do? He needs to carry a little bit of extra speed in there. Remember, you're accelerating out of a restart. So you're not going as fast to turn 1 as you are on a normal lap, right? So you actually drive the car deeper into the corner on a restart than you do on a normal lap. What's that limit, though? And that's why the entrance speed is hard to gauge. But we just saw Custer did not hold the bottom. He could not do it. If you're Bell, you have to be assuming that's going to happen again. You've got to nail this launch. If you can enter door to door with him, you got a shot.
Again, Cole Custer, the control car. He's on the outside. It's overtime. Presented by Credit One Bank. Bell on the inside. Allgaier and Creed making up row 2. Great launch for the 0-0 of Cole Custer. Here comes Creed on the outside.
Now can Creed get clear of the 20? He does. Single file in second. That will give him options down here in 3 and 4. 1 car length behind the leader.
Get a reminder, if the leader gets to the white flag, the next flag determines the end of the race. Right on the back bumper of Cole Custer. Here comes the 18.
Inside.
1 more to go. 3 wide for the lead. Bell on the inside. Creed on the outside. Custer fighting back. Down the backstretch for the final time. And C. Bell pulling away. Creed running second. Custer is third. He's done it. Christopher Bell, 4 straight wins in the Xfinity Series and New Hampshire.
Way to do it there. My man, way to go. Good work, guys. Sorry I made that a little bit harder than it probably could have been, but good job. Thanks for coming down and driving for us, buddy. Really appreciate it.
What a race.
What a talent.
Yeah, a lot of aggression there.
And Sheldon Creed finishes second for the 10th time in his career. Christopher Bell has done it numerous ways as far as finding victory lane, but this is a first ever last lap pass at New Hampshire in the Xfinity Series.
Let's see how it happens. Christopher Bell does not get a great launch. Sheldon Creed on the outside of him does a really nice job of rolling speed, and now he's making forward momentum on the 0-0.
Yeah, so now he's running the 0-0 down and heading into turn 3. It looks like that the 18 has an opportunity. And I love the aggression of the 18. He goes in, he rolls up, and he makes a little bit of contact with the 0-0. Just a little shot in the bumper right there that kind of moves him up. I mean, slightly, that allows him to get 3 wide.
That's right. That loss of speed allowed Bell to be here. And then watch the 0-0. The 0-0 just got moved out of the way. So what does he do? He throttles up and says, you know what? You're not winning. A little bit of contact right there. Gets the 18 rear tires, not making grip. Christopher Bell driving away.
I loved it. I love both moves. I like the push by the 18. I like the recovery by the 0-0. And are we surprised that Christopher Bell finds his way through 4th win? And all 4 now, Rick, have a different feel and a different look.
Yeah.
And then on the radio, sorry he made it hard. That he was out of breath. Sounds like he's sitting next to us in the booth.
What a day for these fans, too. Joining A.J. Allmendinger now as the only 2 drivers in the Xfinity Series to win their first 4 starts at a racetrack. Morgan there to congratulate Christopher Bell.
And Morgan's been there. I talked about him late model racing years ago. She was there then. She's been along with him on this journey.
Take a few pictures with the checkered flag. And now he's going to search out a fan. And Kim, you're down there with him.
I am. He's running around here like crazy, getting a fist bump from one of his crew members. Christopher Bell, man, what a day for this team. He keeps his perfect record in the NASCAR Xfinity Series at New Hampshire, but it was hard fought. It was a challenge out there today. That last restart, that overtime restart, you didn't get the launch you necessarily wanted. How were you able to make that last lap pass?
Just being really fortunate, that's for sure. And, you know, I don't know, I feel so bad for Sheldon. He's been really, really close to winning these things, and today, he did everything right to win that race. He restarted in the right lane, gave Cole a good push, and then coming to the white flag, he got Cole loose, and that's what opened the door for me. So, yeah, I don't know. This Mobil 1 Camry was really, really good early in the race, and then once I lost the track position, I was just kind of another guy. So, very fortunate to keep my undefeated streak alive. We got really lucky there.
You have so much talent at this racetrack, but you are the 4th different driver to win in the 20 car this season. What kind of statement does that say about the team that was behind you today?
Yeah, I mean, it's just really cool. You know, Tyler Allen is the crew chief on this thing, and he was my Cup engineer for ever since I got into the 20 cars. So I was really looking forward to racing for Tyler, and he's got 3 stickers on here. We're going to add a 4th today. So he's doing a really good job, and everyone on this 20 car is doing awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And the weekend is not over for Christopher Bell. He will run the Cup race tomorrow. Look for another win here in that series as well.
Thanks, Kim. And it can't be left unsaid. The successes of Joe Gibbs Racing at this racetrack are unmatched. This time, it's Christopher Bell who's behind the wheel. He gets the win for that JGR team, and 4 consecutive wins in his first 4 Xfinity Series starts here in Loudon. Record tying.
So if you wanna go up to the top, This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.